Yes, people there. Today we got a first look at the Cleveland on this channel. I'm going to have another Cleveland video next week. We might break down the ship more in terms of stats and the like. But there was Norm Scott on screen. This game, this is the current build that I've upgraded the ship. But this game that we're watching is a stock Cleveland. We don't have any hull upgrades, range upgrades, gun upgrades. So this is what you get out of the box here. We got a capture the base mode game on Estuary, and this game has kind of a two-part feel to it. Number one, the first part is going to be kind of familiar if you've been watching the light cruiser coverage from the American line as we've progressed up. We're going to hold down a position, dare the enemy to move forward, kind of draw a line in the sand, say, thou shalt not pass. The enemy passes, they burn to death. So that's kind of the main role for these American light cruisers. We've talked about that. Good. They're more defensive in nature, or, you know, they push back against the enemy's push, I guess is the good way to conceptualize them. All these ships in this game are like pieces in a strategy board game, and they are designed to do different things, and if you're not doing what they're designed to do, then you're not really using the pieces properly. You're not going to have as much success. So these ones, we're going to see later in the game where we're kind of forced to consider pushing with them. It's not the main role, though. We kind of want to find a good island, predict where they're going to be trying to push in from, use that island as cover so we can't take incoming fire. These American light cruisers do not take incoming light fire very well, but we can give out the fire for free. We're not detected currently. This is a good spot to start with. Getting shots on the Amagi. We got a lot of firepower going out. Good fire starting chance. I think it's 17 in this game, 18% chance when you upgrade it. And if you see we're shooting shells every 5.5, 6 seconds, whatever it is, that's a lot of potential fire damage going out there. So that's why I run Norm Scott on these. We got the double HE fire starting perks on that build, and it's going to just run up the amount of fires you get per game in these type of ships. So there we had looked like a blind fire shot. Maybe we were momentarily detected, I don't know. But, you know, when the forecast calls for showers and they're getting it splashed in their eye like this, they're going to start to get annoyed with you. And that's the proper response. If you're going against these light cruisers and you leave them unchecked, they'll kill you. So you need to hopefully get someone on your team to spot them. Then you need to turn your attention to them and remove them from the game. Otherwise, they will take care of business. So they have a destroyer, for instance, that's kind of hovering around. If we see on the map, looks like he's just kind of playing right where he spawned, and we'll see him eventually and deal with him. But ideally, what that destroyer would like to be doing is go all the way to the edge of the map on the western side, sail forward, avoiding being spotted themselves, get into a position where they can spot us. Then the Amagi and I think the Nagato would have someone spotting us. Then they can hopefully get some shots in on us. Either scare us away by taking a couple shots at us, damage us, and then force us to say, okay, well, if this party's going to keep going on, we're going to have to reposition because this is getting a little too hot in here. Or just outright sink us, whatever the case may be. You can see here we got the center of the ship obscured behind that rock formation. The center of the ship is the spotting point for all intents and purposes in this game, so we can stick the front half of that ship out there. Yes, for all intents and purposes, our offensive fire output is probably 50%. I mean, you're seeing trailers from those left-hand guns, but there's a visual bug currently in the game where if you're really close to an island and you hit your shells, they'll often continue through on the screen, but you can see when they land, they're not actually doing anything. So we're basically 50% fire output, you know, capacity, whatever it is. Maybe just a smidge higher if we're getting 1 or 2 shells on that left-hand grouping over. Doesn't matter, though. You'd rather 50% offensive output and maintain 0% incoming, you know, damage to your ship. So had we stuck out to get the full salvo off, yeah, we'd get 1 or 2 salvos with full fire potential, you know, full offensive potential, but we get blown up. So pretty easy trade. This game, the mentality you always want to get is safety first, you know, and don't take that to mean sit in the back buffing your Dewey. Be in position to do something, but defend yourself. Angle your ship. Try and remain undetected. stay alive as long as possible while dealing damage. There we get the radar down for the Z-23, who you can see really never got into position to do much. He just was kind of hovering around pretty close to where he spawned. Kind of an ineffective game. We put a stop to his reign of terror there, removed him from the universe. So now, on evaluating the map, our eastern flank has been slaughtered. Someone's got to go back to defend the base. The Iowa's over there, but it looks like he's being spotted by the enemy destroyer, and then the support ships over there are going to whittle him down. That's not going to work. I'd like for him to disengage to stay alive, but he's probably going to kill himself. Western flank, we got the numerical advantage over here. If we're going to do anything on this side, it's going to be push south. Cleveland doesn't really push. That's not what we're here to do, so we're going to go back to defend. We want to transition our position, move back into the base, because what we're trying to do with the ship is stop enemies from pushing in. And if they're reading the map properly, they probably got it in their mind that they want to push into our base. So we're going to do what our ship does well and go try and stop that. But yeah, you gotta understand what, again, we've talked about this, but what can this ship do? What is this piece of the strategy game designed to do? Destroyers, you're designed to spot ships and help your team with the vision game. Cruisers, you can be offensive, you can be defensive in nature. This American light cruiser line is more defensive in nature. And battleships, you're just kind of there to hold down lines, punish people who cross those lines. Rough overview, but you kind of have to figure out what these strategy pieces are doing on the board. And you got to be looking on the board. The map is the board. If you don't ever look at the map, you're not really looking at the game. You're just kind of focused on your little narrow slice of it, and you're not going to be effectively controlling what you're doing, helping your team win, Now, for some reason, their destroyer has deployed the smoke over there. I don't know if he got spotted by the plane or what was going on. Maybe just had a slip of the finger, deployed the smoke, whatever. Wichita pops up, though. We are going to take those shots, even though we were undetected there. Wichita's presence is an issue, because we want to push towards where that destroyer was, and it's basically in front of us on the map if you didn't see that smoke cloud. But the Wichita has access to the broadside. The closer we get there, eventually that destroyer would spot us, and if the Wichita was paying attention, he'd switch to AP, whittle us down very quickly. So we do want to get him either moved, like we're kind of driving him back right now, which is fine. We just want him so he's not in a position to shoot us, or we could go ahead and kill him if he's going to be stubborn. But again, getting rid of that eyes and ears, the destroyer, is the most important job for this ship at this point in time. Frankly, I'm willing to trade the Cleveland for that destroyer at this juncture in the game. As a semi-competent player, I usually don't, it's not my nature or my instinct to want to trade my ship, usually because we've seen so many throws from my teammates, after I've been dead. But it is what it is. Getting rid of the destroyer, and I really don't think a lot of people on my team are that inclined to do it, so it's up to me. But the Wichita, you can see, he's wrecking us, and this is a major problem. So maybe I should have been more focused on him, just angled on him quickly. But the problem with dealing with the ship is the longer it takes, the more time the other red ships have to push into this situation, support them. Here we're getting spotted now, and the Wichita still is behind cover, I believe. So the destroyer has come out of his little cloud, or come back into relevancy. I really don't know what he was doing over there. Maybe he had to take a call for work or something, so he popped the smoke. But Wichita's still around. We're going to try and get some shots there. Alabama, we took a shot just to kind of say to him, you want this, But that island on the right-hand side of the screen there, that's kind of what we're looking for in terms of defending this base. We'll see that island come back into play. Otherwise, the base is kind of a wide open expanse. And a lot of bases for the capture the base mode section of the map are designed to be largely wide open. So they're kind of hard to defend in terms of cover. Alabama takes a shot there. And these ships are getting us pretty damn close. We're down to under 5,000. Had a little bit of juice on the radar left. We popped it preemptively trying to find this guy. Kagero shoots his guns, though. All he had to do, he didn't know this, but all he had to do was not shoot for 2 seconds, and he would have been alright. Because he fires the guns, though, he's in trouble. So, destroyers, when you get in radared, if you're a ways away from those ships. If you think you can outlast the radar, American radars are 30 seconds. Soviets, you know, they're 15, 20 seconds, shorter durations. British, I don't frankly know off the top of my head, but I don't think they're quite as long as the Americans. But if you can outlast those radars without shooting, that's advantageous. Once he shoots, now he's committed to being spotted for 20 seconds, especially as he's sailing into us. Why are you sailing into a Cleveland, dude? You know, this ship is the hard counter to your existence. So you shoot, now you're detected, now you sail into me, which makes it basically impossible for me to miss you. Game over. So kind of a critical error there, unfortunately. But now, at this juncture, another decision-making inflection point comes up. Currently, they're behind cover and they're up on score. So what do? We're forced to push. That brings us out of our comfort zone. But luckily for us, most players that play this game don't actually care about winning the game, and even if they do, a good portion of the people that do care about winning don't actually know how to win the game. They don't know how to read the score. If you're new, the blue team, you're on the blue team, so the score under the blue flag is your team score. Red team, enemy team. Score under the red flag, that's the enemy score. So they're up. You can see that on the score. Nobody's control. Both caps are open right now, so they're both getting 2 points every 5 seconds. But Alabama does not understand what needs to be done. He wants to shoot us, and he's got a Nagato, I think, to his left there, someone else coming in. Once we recognize that these guys are no longer trying to win the game by holding back and just maintaining their numerical / score advantage, but rather they're pushing into us because they want kills, they want to giggle and feel bubbly about the situation. You know, once we recognize that, now we go over here, use the island. Wichita is the problem. Alright, so we need to deal with this guy. We load up AP. He's sitting there broadside, but he did get access to, because we decided we wanted to fire a full salvo there, he got access to enough side to really whittle us down. You see, we did pop a heal previously, but we're back down to about 5,000, and this is a problem. Here again, we're shooting at him. Ideally, we'd like to kill him. We just nose in on him, and we're firing those front guns at him. But if we can drive him off, that's an acceptable result. Once his angles come into play, we switch over to HE. The AP will no longer be effective. But the Wichita can, in a straight-up DPM fight, I don't know. Probably the Cleveland would win, but these ships both fire very quickly. I mean, the Wichita probably has better shell HE damage, so I don't know. I'd have to do the math, but that's not a fight with as much health that I have right there that I want to take. We drive him off, though, and now we got this little tiny island and this little expanse here. We're just going to be going back and forth, trying to get some shots off. Take one shot, two shot, be kind of like a, you know, just a harassment type of vehicle. And if we can get those fires and they use their damage count so the fires stick, then those fires are essentially a death sentence. So we just want to take those shots. I believe the Wichita's radaring us here. We're just keeping an eye on the map. You know, we're not going to be looking at him visually on the screen the entire time, and we do have support over there, so I'm hoping he can finish him off. But got to keep an eye on that ship because he's waiting for us to lose focus on him, and as soon as he does, he pops around, kills us, game over. You know, what we're doing, again, we're just kind of stopping these guys from pushing in. They didn't need to push in. They should not have pushed in, but they decided to push in, and it doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and stop that push. That's what we're here to do. They've also had numerical superiority. I think they had like 4 ships to 3. Now they're down to 3 ships to 2. But they're kind of engaging one at a time. Colorado was not in position to fight. Alabama came around first. We got him on fire. Someone killed him. Nagato poked forward. We set him on fire, or we scared him off. Damage, damage, damage. Wichita pulls back. The other guy gets him from the grave. Luckily, it looked like he got him with a torp or whatever he did. So that was major because that ship could have potentially killed us with an HE salvo, assuming he aimed for superstructure, which it looks like he was doing when we were trading shots earlier. And now Colorado. We flipped the 4 to 3 ship advantage down to a 2 to 1. And that's just kind of mainly because they weren't timing their push to push in unison. Very hard to do when you're playing with randoms, I understand that. But you, as the aware player on your team, you kind of have to try and time your push with your I was going to say enemies, which is more apt, but your teammates, which they're not going to be trying to time anything. They're just pushing forward, giggling. So anyway, that's a look at primarily pushes when to do them, but also look at the Cleveland. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. A lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.